frank, if you're wanting to find the truth as to our solution, the way through or out of this hell we are approaching, and we're approaching it, trust me. I challenge you to listen through to the end, right? And hear what you don't want to hear, the inconvenient truth of where we're at, where we're heading, and why we're heading there. If you want to hear it together, we'll find the truth together. If you have the nuts to listen, the place we need to start with this is, we know the hell that's going on, okay? Government, yada yada. Everyone's focusing on these mandates and this, that and everything else. Yeah, great, fantastic. Like, I'm not saying this is not an issue, it is an issue. But the shit that's going on in the background with our government, the legislation and shit that's going through and what we've been set up for, you know what? It scares the living shit out of me. So who's responsible for all of it? You ready for the inconvenient truth? You are! Yeah, you are! I am! We all are! Each and every one of us are responsible for the shit that's going on and where we're at. We are all responsible. Each and every one of us. Yeah, we're all great at pointing the finger, aren't we? Oh yeah, this guy, that guy, the other guy. Yeah, great. Really? Why have they done the shit that they're doing? Because we let them. Each and every one of them. We allowed it to happen. We allowed these guys to do the crap they're doing. And it's nothing new. This shit that never started 2 years ago. This has been an ongoing issue. At grassroots level. Because we've all been complicit. None of us have got involved in our local communities. In our government. Like, tell me, which one of you have actually, me included, right, have gone through any piece of legislation that's been passed, you know, before 2020? Like, actually scrutinised it. Seriously. Not too many of us. I know I didn't. At all. We let them get away with it. We let them do what they're doing. It's not the rise of evil, right? We can't crush evil. Evil will always be there. And you know what? We need it. Because good can't exist without it. We live in the world of relativity. We need left foot to have right. We need cold to have hot. We need up to have down. We need bad to have good. Because the opposite sides of the same coin. Each and every one of those things. What's God? God's good and evil all wrapped into one, but opposite sides of the same coin. But essentially what happens is when the good, say the loving, becomes complicit, kicks back, chills, relaxes, you know what I mean? Gets, yeah. Things are just too good and we just like, we live in a little bubble. What that allows is, what's happened, and it's been going on for at least the last 50 years. Slowly but surely, post-Second World War, people with agendas, the evil ones, let's call them, the minorities, you know, the fringe minority assholes with stupid, dumbass left-wing agendas, you know, whether it be friggin' identity or friggin' pronouns or all that bullshit. That no one's got the balls to stand up and say, you know what? There's a male and a female. That's all that exists. There is no other sex. Male, female. I don't give a fuck what you identify with. That's all there is. Nothing else exists. You know, but you know what? No, we're just going to go along with this crap. Essentially what's happened is, slowly but surely, those with, warped, crazy agendas, you know what, they go out, they make a bit of noise, you know what I mean? They make a bit of noise. They start jumping up in the street, you know. We go out there doing their pride marches and the gay Mardi Gras and whatever else it might be, regardless of their agenda. You know, the Greens and all the rest of them, you know. But they go to an extreme because who's there to pull them up? Nobody. Who's got the balls to stand up and say to the Greens over, you know, like going back to the 80s in particular. Right, the 80s was a shocker. You know, tree huggers all over the joint. Did anybody have the balls to go out and say, hey guys, you know what? Back up. You know what? You're dramatising everything. You know what I mean? No. Everyone was, geez, wow. You're going to be politically correct. Politically correct my ass. That's where we are, where we're at. Slowly but surely, they crept in. So, the globalists, you know, they're sure they've got power, they've got money. You know what? But the will of the people? You can't really buy that. No. You can't. Essentially, like, I think of stuff, what banking system they've got in there, like, bottom line is, you know, there's power in numbers, you know, and like, we keep hearing, you know, like, the only reason they've got power is because we give it to them. And how do we give it to them? By pointing the finger. Because the moment you point the finger at somebody and say, you bastards did this to us, you guys created this problem, you guys, blah, 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 what are you doing? You're saying to them, go, hey, you had the power over me to put me in the situation where I'm at. So basically, you are giving them the power. Instead of saying, no, I'm in where I'm at because I allowed you to do it to me. That's where I am, where I'm at. We're at because we let them. So none of this stuff's new. That's going on. None of it. Well, I've been following this shit since 9/11. That's when I really got into it, I'll be honest with you. You know what I mean? Till then, pretty cruisy, you know. I still believe that man landed on the moon up until 9/11. But anyhow, another story. But the stuff I started to uncover, it unsettled me so badly. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, look, I just couldn't believe that people could be so sinister, so self-serving, so heartless, without any regard for human life or dignity, you know, other people's lives. It's like, it's freaky. But I'll give you a little wake-up call on that one. Are they, we call them evil, we call them bad, we call them whatever. But I'll give you one, something that to rethink about. I don't believe that any person goes out and actively and consciously does anything in the belief that they think it is evil, bad, or wrong, immoral, or otherwise. Everything bullshit. But no. Okay, first go along with the Holocaust story as the history books say it happened. I don't want to go there. But the bottom line is, did Hitler think he was doing anything wrong? He had 60 million Germans in behind backing him in. You know, like, it was I don't know what you call it. Like, he thought he was doing God's work, or whatever his work, someone's work. I don't know whose work. But no person consciously does anything wrong, like, while they're doing it. Sure, we can look back and say, wow, you know, what I did back then wasn't so flash. Because we live and learn, and we grow and hopefully reflect. Most of our reflection hopefully happens on, you know, on reflecting on the acts of others which we perceive as being wrong and evil and immoral. Hitler is probably responsible for more love on this earth than anyone else. How's that? Because of people reflecting on those actions, on the Holocaust. Anyhow, let's get back to the program here. I've got a bit sidetracked. I'm 57 years of age, and believe me, my qualifications, you know what they are? My qualifications are that I had it all. I lived the friggin' dream and I lost it all. I've been exposed to extremes that I don't know another person alive that's been exposed to. 2010, I had the deep state in Victoria that said I've experienced it firsthand. This took everything away from me. My home, my best friend, and everything in my life. All of it gone. You want to hear about it? All right, I've got a video on the subject made several years ago. That's when I learned that after spending 7 years through the courts, that the courts cannot help, never helped me then, and will not help us now. Forget the bloody courts. All last year, all these theatrics in particularly the state courts. Who do you think pays our judges? The executive. The executive arm of government, the Treasury, yes, pays the judges, number one. Number two, the separation of powers between the executive, right, and the judiciary, in Victoria in particular. Disappeared 20 years ago. Nothing new. You go in there and gee, it looks like you have a bit of a win. Yeah? Okay, because you got them on some point. What do? The legislative branch of government, right, just rewrites the legislation to cover their arsehole on it. That's all. Simple as that. Simple as that. So, forget the courts. They're not going to save us. No one's going to save us. We need to save ourselves. And the problem is not the government. Who created the government? When I say the government, a complacency, kicking back, chilling, and not being actively involved, and allowing the minorities, to chip away. The bottom line is, who hasn't pointed the finger ever at, say, the kids of today? Let's pick on a group that's been stereotyped to a point. The millennials. I'm sure you've all been guilty. I certainly have. I point the finger at millennials. Oh yeah, they're narcissistic, self-centered. They don't care. They're apathetic. They don't give a shit about nothing but themselves. They don't care about mum, dad, family. Essentially, they just don't give a shit. You know what? That's not all of them, but you know what? Let's face it, it's a big proportion of them. Enough for us to stereotype them. Now, question I ask you to ask yourself, the $1 million question, if you got the balls to freaking face up to it. Question: is it true or is it not true that we are all a product of our environment? True. Yes or no? I think you would agree. We are all a product of our environment. The community, the company we keep, our environment, just everything around us, every element around us. I'm not talking about the friggin' weather. I'm talking about, what's socially acceptable, blah, 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 blah. You know what? It's monkey see, monkey do. That's exactly what we do. We're monkey see, monkey do. What we see, is what we become to a great extent, and essentially we adapt to our environment, and the pressures and stresses and things around us. Now, if we're all a product of our environment, who created the environment that created the millennials? I wonder who. We did. And we're the balls to point our finger at them because they've got no respect for us. You know why? Because we don't bloody deserve it at all. They look out the window you know what? The Australian dream of owning their own home. It's out the window, gone. We destroyed it on them. When we were kids, when I was a kid, in my primary school, in Croydon, don't forget, there were 750 kids in my primary school. Not one kid in the entire school was from a broken home. Not one. My brother was 3 years behind me, 3 or 4, and there was one when he was in primary school. These millennials, what percentage of them are from broken homes? Seriously. And you know what? Who are the silent sufferers? The kids. Because each child is a mother and a father. And who's the political football that gets kicked around like in most in breakups, and then continues on after breakup for years, using the children as blackmail, as like human freaking projectiles, so to speak. You know, but the kids never complained. Because that's what parents say to themselves, oh yeah, oh he's right, I should be right, oh he'll be right. You know what? What? Because they don't complain? You know why they don't complain? Because they don't know any different. This is life. So they adapt. They adapt, and essentially you gotta ask yourself the question, would it be fair and reasonable to say that their apathy is a result of a need to, I don't know, protect themselves, self-preservation? Like, you know, you just can't be empathic. You can't be too, I don't know, emotionally attached to anything, right? or get too emotionally, I don't know, involved in, I don't know, in, like, you just wonder, like, if it's a survival thing. You know, you really do. You have to. So essentially, these millennials, these apathetic, non-caring, self-centered, not giving a crap, you know, in the bubble millennials, which are now our young leaders and our shakers and movers, they don't give a shit that are shaping society and government and all sorts of things. We created them, and now we complain about it. So again, I ask you, whose fault is it? Who is to blame? Seriously, who is to blame? Now, I have, like, tried so hard, like, over the last 2 years, to get people on board, to actually do something, to fix shit. And there's a lot of things we could have done. But do you think I can find any men out there with any fucking nuts? What, because we've got to stick to the law? Oh, because, oh gee, that might be against the law, or that might be against the law. The bottom line is, in the protection of your own interests, in the protection of your family. What would one not do to protect your family? What would one not do to protect the future of your children? And then maybe we might win some of that respect back that we don't have, which we don't deserve. Essentially, women, the disrespect that young males in particular, but essentially males generally, have for women is like, wow, I can't believe it. See, we're all made to assume that in the old days, you know, women were mistreated and enslaved by the men. Really? Really? You know, and the women's lib movement, like, yeah, we progress, you know, because we're equal to men, are you? Well, you know what? If that's what you want, you ought to be treated like a man by a man. Fine. But let me tell you a little story. I was 13 years old. See, 13, thereabouts, 11, 12, something like that. 1975, went over to Italy with my family. Dad took us over. I met my grandfather, my dad's dad, for the first time in my life, at only time. Walking through the village with him, right? And every time we passed, a female or a male passed us. A female, regardless of her age or her status. She walked towards us. Doesn't matter if she was 7 or 70. Doesn't matter. My grandfather would move his hat and bow his head. Right? And as we passed him, he'd say, "Buongiorno, signora, buongiorno, signorina." And not raise his head again until they had passed. See, like, people think it's over the top. Yeah? Wow, that's crazy, really. Okay? We've really progressed so far from that, haven't we? Like, things are so much better now than then. Right? Like, people think that, okay, probably you do with the Italians. Oh yeah, the men just treated their women like shit. Bullshit. Right? My mum and dad's been married 60 years. I've never seen two people more in love than them two. Sure, there's a system. Yeah, out in public, the man's got the pants, so to speak. He speaks, and the wife doesn't. Just follows his lead. Because you can't have two captains on the same ship. But trust me, when you go home, it's all about the matriarchs. The Italian home was always about the matriarchs. Out there, he's boss. In there, you know what, look out, she's the boss. So the boss, at the end of the day, is everyone has their place, a hierarchy. You know what? Why would any woman want to be equal to a man? Rather than allowing every woman to be the greatest expression of herself that she could possibly be. Anyhow, got off the track again. Bottom line is, every part of our society, of our, the moral basis, the foundations of life, of society, it's gone to shit. Like, how many people can most people nowadays call, in a crisis? With their Facebook friends. Yeah, because essentially, like, what is there left of life to save? What we're talking about, this great reset. What are we trying to stop this, trying to stop that? You know what? That's the last thing we should do, is stop this great reset. Because the bottom line is, society needs it. So it needs to come to terms. It needs to I don't know. It needs to be torn down to be rebuilt, because there's nothing. It can't be fixed now. It's way gone. We need to be torn down. Everything get ripped away from us and start again. And rebuild. That's what basically, I think the third step of alchemy is separation. We tear it all down, and we sift through the rubble and find the bits worth hanging on to, won't be too many, and start rebuilding from the ground up. The two pieces I would pick up, only two pieces. The two pieces that my grandfather's entire existence was based upon: honour and respect. That's it. That's built from the ground up, right? And then, based on Christian type values, which Christian values are nothing to do about religion, but moral values. The value of mother, father, brother, sister, a neighbour. There's a lot of loving people in this country. Certainly is. I was at Canberra. I was overwhelmed. But the bottom line is, the majority of people have lost their way. The media, whatever. I had solutions for all that stuff, and still do. But the bottom line is that I pleaded my heart for people to come forward, jump on board, and get shit done. However we need to do it. Because these bastards want to take our lives, yeah? And those of our children. So why would you put anything less than your life on the line to protect them? I don't understand it. Everyone's like, they're happy to do their little protest. Like, what protest is not going to help us, girls and boys? It's not going to help us. No. How can it? You think they give a shit about? I think if there's 5 million people out in the street screaming at camera, it won't make it up. Surprise, surprise, I ran out of memory on my phone, so I had to delete a couple of files. The Great Reset. No, we don't need their Great Reset. No. No chance. But we need to reset at, grassroots level. What these guys are doing, we can't stop it at this point. This reset, it's going to go down. But in every negative is usually a far greater positive. The solution. What have these globalists been doing for us? They've exposed every crooked organisation, every wayward public servant, every friggin' demonic bastard in existence. Like, they've put them all out there. Like, out there, they've weeded them all out, like, for us. Like, they've done us a big favour. They're also going to, basically finish off tearing down the banking system that's enslaved us for over, it's been now 120 years now, at least. Enslaved us all. Their banking system. They're going to pull the pin on it. Like, because it was imploding anyway. So what? Time for reset. There was a big favour. Massive favour. Right? They're going to take down the banking system. Right? They're going to crush the economy. Yeah, okay. You know what? We're going to go through some friggin' tough times. You know what? It's going to be hell. But it's going to be worth it. If we unite now, before it all happens, and control the crash. We say control the crash, prepare ourselves as a people, control the crash. Because there's solutions to everything, to all of it. Australia in particular is extremely fortunate. We don't need anything from any other country. We have enough oil, we have enough gas, we have enough minerals, energy, enough food to feed 10 Australias. We don't need any other country. And you know what? And when the globalists come over and say, you know what, we're going to write off all your debt, you know what I mean? Oh, don't worry about your mortgages, don't worry about Australia, don't worry about your debt, your foreign debt, or their fictional manufactured bullshit debt of money that lends us that doesn't exist, with journal entries. And what we're going to do? We're going to say, guess what? Guys, you're right. We don't owe you anything. Alright? You stick your credits up your ass, and we owe you nothing. None of us owe you nothing. Australia owes you bastards nothing. None of yous. And I want to see what they can do about it. You tell me what they can do about it. What can they do about it? What can they do? Oh, what? Trade sanctions? Look, we give a shit. We don't need any other country. We don't need anybody. Australia is ground zero for this reset. Victoria is ground zero. Why is that? Let's not even go there. It's probably not really relevant right now. So people, the universe is pushing us in a particular direction. I learned a long time ago, don't push against it. The universe has its will, and the harder you push against it, the harder you're going to fall. It's obvious that this is where things are going to go. You know what? Society is going to get crushed, but how crushed it becomes, and how we deal with it, and the shape that we take on the other side of it, we can control. And I think that in this, what seems so dark and horrible, and look, guys, you know, if they get their way, you know what? I can't even think about it. But yeah, it's going to be hell. The hell is going to be a nice place to go to compared to what we're going to have here on Earth, sure. But we can shape that. But we need to unite. And I need the men in particular out there to do what us blokes are meant to do. Protect our women and our children of families. And do what needs to be done. I'll repeat. They want to take our lives, our children's lives, their future, and take everything away from us. Why would you not put anything less than everything you possess in your life on the line, including your life, to protect it, to protect them? What are you afraid of? So, to the women out there, I want to ask you, to your brothers, your husbands, your boyfriends, the bloke next door, throw some nuts or kick him in the nuts. Because seriously, they only have the power over us that we give them. We've got to stop pointing the finger outwards and start looking within for solutions. Because the solutions are not out there. We can't fix this from the top down, only from the ground up. Because the top is all getting destroyed. So they're helping us. You know what? The rebuilding process. Well, they destroyed the top end. You know what? We start getting the grassroots sorted out. All right? And then we're going to shape our government, our top end, our hierarchy, our new system. You know? But we need to do it from the ground up. Well, they're busy destroying what needs to be destroyed. The stuff that we'd have a lot of trouble destroying ourselves, let's face it. They're going to do it for us. We're just going to get ready for it. We need to start rebuilding from the ground up. You know what? Because if we don't get together now, believe you me, the day will come when we'll all have to sleep with one eye open. In case, because the next door neighbour might be climbing through your kitchen window and cut your throat for a slice of bread. That's what they're going to do to us. Why do I sound dramatic? Wow. No. Because I've done it all before, people. These guys, same people, same assholes. They intentionally triggered the Great Depression. They triggered it. Why? To install the friggin' banking system that enslaves us today. That's why they did it. Intentionally. Go research it. All I've given you guys is a shitload of truth. You can accept it, or you can ridicule me. That choice is yours to make. All I'm asking you, I'm begging you, each and every one of you, accept responsibility. Accept it. Own it. All of us need to own it. If we don't own it, don't own it. Responsibility. Right? And we'll be the little bitches. Choice is yours, people. Right? And my call out is to the men out there. Those that think they're men. Because I tell you what, guys, I've seen far more courage in the women, in the movement. Far more courage, commitment, and desire. Tenfold that I've seen in any men. Any. We need to accept responsibility. It's about time the men of this country stood up and not took arms, took responsibility. If we're going to achieve that, we can achieve anything. So what's the solution? Owning it. Accepting what's going down. And you're kidding yourself if you think we're going to stop it. Because firstly, we can't. It's not possible. It's like even if the globalists wanted to stop it, they can't. It's not possible. The whole financial system is imploding. Everything's going to shit. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one place left on earth that right now I want to leave this Russia. That's it. Oh dear. That's another story. I love this place. I love this country. I love its people. Let's not try to protect what's broken. Let's protect what we love. Let's be there, because we need to be there, not just for, we need to, all those people that we call sheep, all those that are asleep, yeah, whatever. We've got a big job ahead of us, people, because you know, they're not prepared for this. We need to prepare ourselves to help them, as many of them as we can. Put things in place, whatever we need to do to create a new tomorrow. Because there's no futility in saving what's of no benefit to us. I'm one man. I'm no one. But you know what? Together, if you're a no one, you know, a lot of no ones together can make someone. Make something great. Because everything starts somewhere. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard yards. It ain't going to be easy. You know what? There's going to be days and months and maybe even years where, like, shit, we feel like we just can't go on. But human beings are resilient. What? We'll get through it. The most powerful thing that we can do is accept responsibility for where we are. Because if we accept responsibility for where we're at, we empower ourselves. Because we say to ourselves, well, hey, we put ourselves in this shithole. Well, because of choices we made. Because we all have choice. If you accept responsibility that our choices sucked, guess what? We choose again. And keep choosing and choosing and choosing until we make the right choices that take us to the right place and produce the right result. Look, it's like, I'm going to go, but look, I see this like little kiddies out there with mum out playing in the street. We're over to them. All I've given you guys is a shitload of truth. You can accept it, or you can ridicule me. That choice is yours to make. All I'm asking you, I'm begging you, each and every one of you, accept responsibility. Accept it. Own it. All of us need to own it. If we don't own it, they'll own it. Responsibility. Right? And we'll be the little bitches. Choice is yours.